you're staring at my 40 psi boost gauge pegged all the way over. In the process of dialing in my tune, I ran into some boost controller solenoid settings that were not happy with the car. The car wasn't happy with them. I saw a couple big spikes to 40 psi, and I breached the head gasket on the intake side of cylinders 2 and 3. This motor originally had a JE Pro Seal and standard ARP hardware. The head gasket issue was pretty easy to solve. I swapped over to L19 studs and another JE Pro Seal gasket that I copper sprayed lightly. What I didn't expect to find when I pulled the head to do what I thought was just a head gasket change was my GSCT1 cams had started to wear like my old Skunk 2 Pro ones. All the rockers wiped out. The lobes of the cams look all crappy. I ended up taking the head off, and shout out to the guys over at Head Games Motorworks. They inspected it for me and found out that I had a stack tolerance issue causing inner valve spring coil bind that, well, it's what wiped out the last set of cams. As a result of this, I switched over to the GSC valves. The keeper groove location is a different height when compared to like an OE replacement valve like the Ferreras I had in the head. This should alleviate my coil binding issue. Head Games did a great job. The head got freshened up. New valves installed. All of my spring pressures were good. All of my coil bind numbers were also good. So that had to get tossed back on. I thought I was going to rip the threads out of the block, torquing the L19 studs to 100 foot-pounds. It was super sketchy. But it has stopped drinking coolant. The coolant level actually went down the weekend after I put it together by, I don't know, maybe an inch in my coolant overflow bottle, which is a smart water bottle, by the way, before anyone sees it and is already making comments. It's doing great on coolant now. It doesn't burn through any coolant. It doesn't push any coolant. So that's one less thing I have to worry about. The primary reason for this gearing change was because the third and fourth gear from the F series proved to be way too long. I could do almost 130 miles an hour in third gear and 160-ish in fourth gear. I don't see my car ever being able to trap 160 anytime soon. So the GSR gears should give us a trap speed in the mid to high 140s, which is something that I see as achievable. I also should have way less of a rev drop between second and third. The car would like fall out of power, like borderline fall out of VTEC. So it should be better for the car overall. The only thing left that I have to do is install my belly pan from WickFab, and I think we're ready to hit the track. This time the transmission came out because I finally got my hands on a GSR third and fourth gear set. I'm going to be swapping the P2A5 third and fourth gear set out. I purchased brand new parts from Synchrotech, including some RTF, carbon fiber synchronizers, hardened hub, and hardened slider. The installation was pretty straightforward. The F series third and fourth gear combination required way more work to get in than the GSR. It was almost drop in for the GSR. The main shaft had to be reshimmed to get the proper tolerance, but that should be something you should be checking on these transmissions when you pull them apart anyway. Also to note, this was the easiest that transmission has ever gone back in that car. Every other time it's fought, it dropped right in. It was 1 a.m. at the shop, and I was the only one there. I'm surprised it went as smoothly as it did.